as well, so that is also about to come over. We have a great show for you lined up today. But before we start the show, please be so kind as to share this video. So go ahead, click on the share button, make sure that everybody can see what we are doing together with the all of our roommates, all of the other viewers that are coming in, and our guests that we will be talking about very shortly. So please share this video, and it's about 3 minutes before showtime. So tell me, it's a weekend. What have you been up to? So please tell me, because I'm very interested in what you have done so far. What I've been doing, actually, well, today was not the best day in the world. As you know, I work for a local radio station where I also, well, local radio and TV station, where occasionally I'm also part of the IT department. And if something about software is that sometimes software doesn't really work as you want. That is also sometimes the case. So and sometimes you really need to do some testing, and we will be talking about software and testing and music. Might be a strange combination, but my guest for today is somebody who knows a lot about music. Well, I think he does, and he knows a lot about software and testing and automation of testing. So that is going to be awesome. I'm also, because I'm in the Netherlands, I don't give a peep on alcohol during the show. So I am drinking some alcohol. Now, don't worry about it. It's only 2%. It's actually a Radler, which is a German invention, where you have 50% beer, 50% lemonade. So it's not as bad as it looks. And I'm not really going to be all merry before the camera. It's just that I like to have something when it's really about 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, or let's say 27, 28 degrees Celsius. So it's rather hot here. So tell me, what is the weather like at your location, and where are you from? Please put your city and even or country in the comments. I see a lot of people are joining already. Annie, my mom, is also here. She says, good evening, Joe and Petra. Have a good show together. We will definitely have a good show. René Christman from Germany is also in. And he says, no sound, but I'll just write down, if no sound, stop and start Facebook. That's what will help. So we are in here. I see Evo is also in. Evo, we need to really touch base, because I know that you just released something special, so we really need to talk to each other about that. We got 40 seconds to go before the show starts, and we will have a very interesting show if it comes to what has software to do with music. That is kind of interesting. We will be talking to Joe in a few seconds. It's about 20 seconds before the show starts. So get your drinks, get everything ready. You got about 15 seconds to start this show. And I am really, really pumped about it. And I hope that you are pumped about that too. So about 6 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2... Welcome everyone, welcome to the show, welcome to Petra's Music Condo. We are live every Saturday, well, almost every Saturday at 9 p.m. Central European Time, 8 p.m. if you live in the UK, 3 p.m. if you live on the eastern side of the United States, or at noon if you live on the western coast of the US, and 7 a.m., I have to tell that because I know I have people watching in Australia, 7 a.m. on the Sunday morning in well, let's say Sydney, Brisbane, I don't know, that area at least, and I'm really pumped for you guys to be here. I am not all by myself today. I have a very, very special guest. So his name is Joe Colantonio. I hope that I hope that I pronounced your name
That's
correctly.
perfect.
Please tell me
Yep.
if it's perfect. Good, cool. So, Joe, before I introduce, well, I will introduce you just a bit, and then we will go to you. But I met Joe, I think about a year ago, maybe 9 months ago. We were both very interested in doing video, like what I'm doing here today. And we were part of a masterclass at livestreamingpros.com. Go and visit them; they're awesome. And we got to know each other. We spent some good times. Spent some bad times, but fact of the matter is, I think that we became friends, and I am very delighted to welcome you, Joe. Hello. Oops,
Hey,
I
Petra.
have to go to the. There you go. There he is.
Awesome to be in the music condo with you today.
Yes, it's very awesome. Welcome. So, Joe, can you tell something about yourself?
Sure. I'm a podcaster and blogger. I also recently started a conference, and so I have a blogging podcast and online conference dedicated to everything related to test automation. So, like you said, it's a kind of a weird transition of where I went from music into test automation and software, and I'm sure we'll touch upon that today. So, that's what I'm all about. Automation and I still play music on the side, but mainly it's been mostly just focused on technology and software.
That is absolutely awesome. So let's delve into first into what you're doing right now. So the podcasting and the automation guild, I believe you call it. Let's do that in two separate sessions. So let's talk first about your podcast. What is the podcast about, and what can people learn from that podcast?
Sure. So once again, everything I talk about is related to software automation or software testing. So Test Talks is about software testing and automation, as the name implies, Test Talks, and it's doing pretty well. My wife, when I first started, said, "What, one or two people are going to listen to it?" And it turns out, I actually have people that want to sponsor it, and it's not, in terms of other, business related podcasts, it's probably not huge, but I have a fairly good audience, and it's really was a good outlet starting the podcast because I get to meet a lot of people in the industry, and that opened up a lot of doors. So even though I may not have huge numbers within my industry, within the niche that I'm in, I think it performs really well, and I get to meet a lot of people, and so I'm really excited about that. I've been doing that for almost 3 years now, and ever since I started podcasting, I've been blogging for 7, but when I started podcasting, that's what really accelerated my side business for me.
What made you change from just blogging to being doing podcasting? Is there something that happened why you were doing that?
Well, I've always been into music. I always loved music. Actually, I went to school for music. I wanted to be a professional musician. So when I heard about podcasting, it was the closest thing I could think of to kind of merge something where I can actually buy equipment and write it off and tell my wife, "Hey, it's a real business expense. It's not just because I'm trying to do music on the side." So I really wanted to get into the gear. So I always loved the gear and get a little closer to what I used to want to do with music. So that's one of the main reasons. Another reason is I'm kind of shy and introverted, and I really wanted to work on my communication skills. So I thought starting a podcast really would help me be able to think more clearly on my feet and be able to reach out to people, have conversations a little more natural than what I was doing before. So it kind of get me more out of my shell is why I really started it.
Okay, well that is very cool. Um, I think that I can relate to that because I have been doing some podcasting myself before I did this. However, it was not going further than being a few episodes and then say, well, it's very hard for me to really talk for like 10 minutes or 30 minutes or so. Actually, from my perspective, and I think that you and I are a little bit alike, and I think that that's also some
So Petra, looks like we got cut off. Looks like it's just me. I'm taking over the show. Ha ha! My mad plan finally worked. So Petra, like you said, I think we are very similar. Uh, I think we both kind of introverts, but I think the music and the video and the podcast really, I think it brought us out of our shell. Just seeing you in this opening, it's like what we were before when we first started with live streaming pros. It looks like you really have taken it to the next level, and you seem a little more, really more personable now, and it really shows that you look like a natural. So this is awesome that you've been doing this consistently. But it looks like I'm just the only one on the show right now. Petra is trying to get back online. We'll be starting back up. This is what I love about live streaming pros is they teach you that anything could go wrong and be prepared for it. And what's cool about what I do is I have a setup where I can do video where it's not really live, but I can repurpose it and not have to worry about these types of issues. But this is why I think it's awesome that Petra's going live to actually work out all these bugs that happen when you're live streaming. Pretty cool. All right. I see you, but I don't hear you yet. Wonder if Kermit messed around with some plugs or something.
Okay. There we are. We're back. I hope that you can hear me. We had some issues, and unfortunately, all of my all my cameras were just going away. I can hear myself three times, but this is now fixed. So Joe is currently off, but I'll try to get him on, and we'll try to get. Get this in. Hello, Joe. Can you hear
Hey,
me
Petra.
again?
Yeah, welcome back.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you. But that is fine. I'm gonna fix that somehow. Um, yeah. So guys, sorry about that. My cameras were all gone. That didn't happen before. So that was midway. One camera went away, so I swapped to the other one. That one failed as well, like a minute later, and I didn't have any cameras for myself at this moment. So I'm not sure what happened. I'm not able to hear Joe at the moment. I'm going to try to get him on board again. So let me see if that is possible to get him on board. Joe, can you say something, please, just for
Yeah.
to see?
Hey, Petra, can you hear me now?
Okay.
So I'm just
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay,
awesome.
great.
Good.
So we are back. Joe, we are going to do this interview again
Sure.
maybe next week. So what I tried to just say to you, and I did hear you, Joe, but like I said, both Mevos just quit at like first when
Wow.
this one went. Luckily it went when you were talking. And then I switched over to the other Mevo, and that was also like crashing like 2 minutes later. Um, not sure what happened. Maybe it's a warmth or something. I don't know what it was. I've never had this issue before, so that is something which was at least great about it. But I do think that I actually might have found what it is because there was a pop-up on Windows.
What, a
Nice
software upgrade?
software,
Oh,
something like that. Yeah.
yep.
So something like that might have happened. I'm sorry for that, but like you said, this is live video. So unfortunately, I
Awesome.
didn't have the ability to really get into it very quickly. So I had to really, I mean, both cameras were really down, so I had to restart it and get it back online, etc. So that takes about a few seconds to do that. So that's the reason
Yep.
why I was totally gone. But you're back, so we can do two things. We can, let's say, have a free format discussion now, or park it and go back and come back next week. What do you think?
Let's keep it live. Let's do it. This is the beauty of live. As long as everything's
I'm
working.
loving you already.
That's all
Okay, so let's
right.
do this. Let's do this. I like this. I like your style. So let's do this. Give me a few seconds to get that camera back online as well.
Sure.
And then we can and then I'll do this live. I don't care. I mean,
Yeah, awesome.
we'll do it
Even
the
better.
way uh, part of the team. Huh? So you get an exclusive behind the scenes, really, to get things organized. This was not scripted. This was not tested whatsoever. So I have a an application on my phone which is called NewTek NDI, which is a new feature which is awesome. The only thing is that what I did last time was that I switched between um, um, how do you say that? Between the front and the back camera, and that it doesn't like. So I'll just add that as a camera. I'll do that right now. Save, and hopefully it will work. I think it just broke, but okay. Let me try it somewhere else. We got something else. I like to do something else then. Let me live stream because I like to show you something behind the scenes. Okay, get this in. How does that work? Oh, can I put that in? I don't know. That I don't know. How do I do that? Like this, maybe. Live stream broadcaster, studio remote camera. Use this remote camera. All right. Hopefully, I'll see it then in a few seconds. Aha, I do. Let me get to one that is not used at this moment. That would be this one. And say click.
Oh,
Oh,
did I
did I
just
just
I
I
just
just
removed
removed
Joe?
Joe?
Okay.
Okay.
Let me give me. That's
Let's
good.
get rid of this one and get Joe back. Sorry
Yes.
about that, Joe. You were gone for a bit. Like I said, not tested, not done before. Blah blah blah. that kind of thing, all the usual suspects.
Let's get this. Okay, so
It is a little bit dark, but we'll see what we can do.
okay, so boom.
Cool.
So at this moment, this is my setup. This is my laptop with your website on it, Joe, so that we can show it to people. I have a small monitor over here, and this is the Mevo. That one was the first one that went. And here you have a how you say that? A microphone,
Moonlight.
which you are hearing me through if everything is fine. And this is the second Mevo that I just restarted in the meantime. And that is now starting up. I got two lights top down on me, and one light here. That was the kitchen. I'm not going to show it because it's a mess. And this is the software that I use. So it's I actually can see Joe is right here. I'm just pointing out that's Joe. That is what you're looking at this moment. You see me. I can put Joe on this so that he can show himself a bit. There he is. And this is the time, which is now totally something that I'm not looking at. Batteries, always important to have with you. And this is a device that I use to listen to what I'm saying. Here you have the YouTube comments. And which Jordan is looking at. Hi Jordan, sorry for being late with the reaction. And this is the set. And as you can see there, and I just forgot to put in the curtain. I don't know why, never done it before, but I just forgot about it today. So that is roughly what I am, where I am. It is really small, as you can see. It's really, really small. Because that's the end of the studio right there, and that's my couch. And there's Kermit. There he is. Proof that he is still there, and he's still. Let me see if I can now switch to. I'll show you to you. There you go. So now I can disconnect from this camera and go to this camera. And now this is the problem that I'm facing, is that I need to add it as a Wi-Fi first, which is, I don't know why that is the case every time. And then go here, go back to the Mevo application, and it says, hey, it's C3PO, Human Cyber Relations. There you go. And believe it or not, that's roughly everything that I need to do in 9 out of 10 times. Because, as you can see, C3PO is there. So it's already there, so I am back in business. So I can switch back to that camera, which will be this camera. And the cool thing about Mevos is that I can actually just put this part, and then you can only see that part. But I'm not able to show it to you now because this iPhone is now on that channel. So oh, and by the way, this is me talking, which is kind of interesting. So let's go back to my shot. So that's with the phone, and yeah, as you can see, it can be done. Everybody has this kind of, but we like it. Oh, that's cool. Now I'm back here.
Nice.
Let me remove like this. There you go. And then, if all is well, I am back on this channel. That is not the case. So I think that my audio is, well, it should now be working, but
Yep, sounds fine.
It sounds fine? Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, then we can start the show again. But believe it or not, it didn't work. So, oh wait, no, it's not. That's my bad, I think. Perfect streaming, and I need to. Oh, that's that one. Oh, wait. Gotcha. Okay, I'll do that the other way around then. That's this one. Okay. It's a little bit of a different story today, but I don't care. I'm just gonna fix it. All right. So that is interesting. So let's have a very brief moment and to see what people are saying, because you guys are, if you're still here, you're awesome, because you have been going through some blank screens and that sort of thing. But I see 15 people are still watching, which is awesome. Um, I see that technical issues, Control Alt Delete, and everything works again. Says André van der Heijden, which is is a great guy. I like him. And welcome back, says Rene. Welcome. Thank you very much. As you can see, technical issues can happen, and hey, that's part of being there. So we left this the discussion that you were. You have been doing some podcasting, and you did that because you wanted to, you were a little bit introvert, and you want to explore that and be a little bit more extrovert and being a little bit more talkative, etc. Before the camera went blank, I was about to say that I actually can imagine that, because I had the same feeling. And the next question would be for me. So if you would go back to the time where you said, "Well, I did some podcasting, but I want to go live. I want to go do some live streaming."
Yeah. So for some reason, like I said, I'm an introvert. I really don't like going to conferences online. And so I wanted to find a way where I could interact with my community and not have to travel and go through all that. So I came up with the idea of doing a live event, a conference. And so that's how I met up with I didn't know anything about live streaming, nothing about video. I found Live Streaming Pros, and man, they got me up and running. And 6 months later, I put on my very first online conference. We had 751 people join from 75 countries. It was awesome. It was a paid event. So
That is awesome.
It was even better. So I mean, no, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, like, I actually made more money than what I do at work, and for a full year doing that in a week. So it really was eye opening to go, wow. I wonder if this is. I don't know if it's if I can redo it or not. If it's going to be. I'm gonna try to do it every year, but for some reason, it really did really well that one year. So hopefully we can keep it going. And this was Automation Guild that I'm talking about. So couldn't have done it without you, so, actually, too, Petra.
So what it was? Sorry again.
Because you helped me hook up my audio and video at some point when I got my live streaming box, so it was a big help.
Yeah, well, that I'm always here to help people, so that's much appreciated. That I will always do that. So I mean, I do recall you being a little bit like stressed because of this. This was the first time, right? It was something that you have never done before, and I can imagine that you want to have something to relieve the stress, or be at least not think about it all the time. And there is maybe something where music fits in. And maybe you can talk about that, Joe. What kind of music have you been listening to at that time?
Sure. So right now, basically what I do is I used to play like 12 hours a day when I was 13 to maybe 26. That's all I did was play guitar. But now so much, when I get stressed, a lot of times I'll just play scales or chord sequences. So I'm really into jazz. So just playing chords and scales up and down the neck really relaxes me. I'm not comparing myself to Einstein, but I know Einstein, when he was stressed out or working out a problem, he'd play his violin. And so I do something similar. I never been a big fan of playing covers, so I've always played originals. So I just doodle on my guitar, and it's a great stress relief for me. So even now, even though I'm not professional, it's still giving benefits. Even after all the years of practice I put in, even though I'm not a professional musician, it still keeps me going. When I am stressed out. So that's a good point. When I do get stressed out, it is one of the things I can go to actually relieve that stress.
You say that you're not professional yet. I mean, I've seen a picture of you being on a University of Music or something like that. So what? How does that fit in?
Well, I went to Berkeley College of Music, so that was I
Exactly.
wanted to be a full time musician. But I'll be honest, I dropped out before graduating because I kind of talked myself out of it because I was sitting around. We used to have these lab sessions where you'd sit in a circle of 10 to 15 guitar players and you would play licks off each other. And I just felt like I didn't fit there. I felt awful. I felt like I wasn't as good as everyone else. And after 4 semesters, I just dropped out and said, it's not for me. I'm obviously not going to be able to do this. Everyone's better than me. So actually, one of my only regrets in life was I didn't finish it. If I only knew that I'd make enough money doing software that I could pay off my college debt, I would have stayed with it. But that's why I say I'm not professional. So I didn't graduate from music. I did after that go on to start an original band, and we toured around for a few years, the Boston, New York area, but like, we never got signed. And after I hit 26 when Jimi Hendrix
Boston.
died, I said it's time for me to go.
Wow. So you lived in the Boston area, or where did you live then?
Yeah, so Berkeley College of Music is in Boston. I live in Rhode Island, which is
Ah,
only about 50 miles from Boston. So I used to commute back and forth all the way. I don't know if you ever heard of CBGB's, but I actually got to play there a few times in my band, The Rub. So yeah, it was a good time.
the rub.
The Rub.
Awesome. Yeah. So you come from Rhode Island. Sorry, I didn't recall. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that. So now I understand it. I mean, Rhode Island is, if I'm not mistaken, Massachusetts, Connecticut, that area, right?
pretty much. Yeah, it's Rhode Island and Massachusetts is to the north of us.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Yeah. So you play guitar? Is that like only like classical guitar, or also electric, or do you play other instruments?
No, it's just guitar. Unfortunately, it's mainly electric guitar. I also have acoustics, but it's mainly jazz. I also I'm a deacon at church, so I play in the church choir kind of. So it's just I still play every Sunday, but it's just for church and very simple hymns. So it's really mellow music now. But I really grew up on really classic rock like Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, and then I got into, like neoclassical stuff like Yngwie Malmsteen, Joe Satriani, Paul Gilbert. And then I got into jazz with like Tal Farlow, old George Benson really could play really mean guitar. And then I got into hardcore jazz with like Charles Mingus, Miles Davis. So I like
Hmm.
all kinds of music as long as it's done well.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I hope that my father is there. Oh, now I know it again. Um, One of the I'm not really into the jazz. I do like the sound of it, but I'm not
Yep.
really actively listening to it. But one of the artists that I think, yeah, it's definitely jazz, which I grew up to listening to because we lived in Rochester, New York area, maybe so below the Ontario Lake. We It was Chuck Mangione. You probably have heard of
Okay.
that.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
He
Very.
was a big guy. He was a big guy in the 70s.
Yep. Yep.
So I do recall listening to him very well, very much also. And I'm not sure if my dad is still here, but he will definitely say something about that. But not sure if he's in. Yeah.
I guess
And
I guess what
anything.
opened my
Yeah,
eyes
sir, go ahead.
what opened my eyes to jazz was I don't know if you ever seen it live, but Newport in Rhode Island has this big Newport Jazz Festival every year. So in like 87 or 88, my mother's boyfriend took me there and I actually got to see Charlie Parker and Miles Davis live. And I mean, that just blew my mind, the caliber of the music. I really wasn't into jazz either, but once I saw it live and got to see Miles Davis, the way he commanded the stage, and he had this bass player that was unbelievable. I don't even remember his name, but he played the bass like a guitar. That's really changed my mind about jazz, thinking it wasn't just, elevator music. It could be really intense and really, I think it's really intellectual and really deep. And I love a lot of music that doesn't have words because you can you can use your imagination more. I think is why I really like it.
Yeah. I think that you're right. I mean, I'm looking at what I'm listening to. I listen more to alternative music, but I do see what you're going at. I do see that generally over time, I'm more into, let's say, classical jazz, more the instrumentals. That's what you're saying,
Yep.
right? The instrumentals. Also, maybe the way I look at it, it's more an open book in the sense that you can uh, make your own story out of
Yes.
what you're listening to,
Yep.
which I do like. Yeah, I understand that. Wow, it's a good thing. I'm really happy with these kinds of these kinds of sessions, like we're doing right now, because it does also help me to appreciate other different styles of music, and I'm sure that that are watching do feel the same. I mean, looking at the people that are in at this moment, Renee still here, Jordan is still here. Well, maybe I just found out that my Facebook just also crashed, so
Oh
maybe we have
no.
more people that are. No, that's fine. That's gonna be okay. All right, we're back. But yeah, so Rene was already wired, Lon. Okay, yeah, it's technical stuff. Yes. So, Joe, before we go, I also maybe you can also say something about. Let me try to get things organized over here. Maybe you can also say something about where people can reach out to you and see what you do.
Sure. I mean, my name's really hard to pronounce and type and remember. So probably the easiest way is go to testtalks.com. And that's my podcast. And from there, you can go to my main page, which is joecolantonio.com, which is my blog. We also are putting on another conference in July dedicated just to performance testing called Perf Guild. So that's PERFGUILD. And so that should be an experience. But so thank you for having me on the show and letting me talk about this. I really think a lot of people I speak to in the software testing industry, for some reason, all have music backgrounds. So I don't know. It has to do with, I think a lot of the traits you do with software testing and software development are the same that you use with music, the creativity and the logic and the analysis piece. I think it's funny how they seem so different, but yet they really are very similar.
And I agree with that fully. I work at a technical company, and I work in what they call a DevOps team, which is, for people that don't know that area, we develop software, but we also, let's say, maintain it all together. So if there's a problem, the same team that created the software also fixes issues, and that's actually where you need to have some analysis thinking. You also need to be able to see structures, so to speak, etc. And that's really something that's also part of what we see in music as well. And this is really something that I just, I mean, you're talking about testing, and in all honesty, Joe, we are actually really looking into it, because we really need to get as much automated as possible to be able to
Cool.
help our client as much as possible. So that's the way it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. A
All
lot of
right.
companies are investing. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Joe, I would really, really appreciate you taking the time. I also appreciate you being here, even though it's not a perfect show. But let me just say, one thing that we have tested successfully in this show is that I better make sure that that pop-up doesn't show up in the future.
You handle it like a pro,
So-
Petra. So thank you for that.
Hey, that's no problem. No, okay, thank you so much. And we will be here next week. And I hope that you have a very good week indeed. Please, again, even though it's not a perfect show, please share it. And we will be talking later. See you around. Bye.